What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content daily. We also stream over on Twitch at This Is Aftersound, so come by and say hello. Okay, I wanted to do some speculation on land value and the types of returns or ROIs we can expect on land. Now, I'm going to say it again. This is all speculation. The evidence that I'm providing is circumstantial at best. It is just what Matt has said in a previous town hall, not the one that happened today, but in a previous one, maybe a couple of weeks back, maybe even a month back at this point, when somebody asked how much value can we expect land to provide. Now, he gave a cheeky answer there, I think 6 or something, which he was just joking about. But when he dove into the answer a little bit more, again, not providing anything from a monetary standpoint or a financial standpoint, but just saying that landowners will be able to mint spells and items, meaning that landowners will now have access to NFTs and basically be minting NFTs. So this is an interesting thing to me because when he compared that, he said you should compare it to something like cards that come out. So for example, a Rift Watchers or a Chaos Legion. So I was stewing around with that for a while, and I figured I might as well just throw some numbers into it, right? Because if that is the case, right? If that is the case that the land in itself is going to provide value to us through that, because of the fact that we'll be able to mint our own NFTs on there and then provide that value to the rest of the ecosystem, right? And when I say we, I mean anybody who owns a plot. I own 2, so I'm not like a huge landlord, or as opposed to people who own like tracts or regions, but I'm just trying to get an idea and a realistic sense from the information that we have now as to how much I can expect in terms of land value in the future. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to go through some numbers here, but it's also going to depend on what kind of land you get. If you get a legendary whatever kind of land that provides, the best of resources, it's going to be worth a lot more than the worst of the worst. So we're going to try and just get an average here and what we can expect and then extrapolate that across the board. Now, if you get lost, let me know in the comments if hopefully the math makes sense here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare 2 things. I'm going to say let's look at Rift Watchers, or more importantly, the value of Rift Watchers, as well as the value of Chaos Legion overall, okay? So here we go. I'm going to start with Rift Watchers because I believe he had mentioned Rift Watchers in that, but we're gonna, like I said, have 2 examples here. So Rift Watchers, the total value that Rift Watchers is going to be $5 per pack times 3 million packs, right? And the reason I have this kind of backdrop open here is to show the current value of a plot or a plot of land, which is 443. So this thing jumped up a little bit. So Rift Watchers is going to provide $15 million in terms of value that is going to be accrued from it. Now, again, this is just the retail value and what we're expecting. I'm not thinking about bonus packs or anything like that. I'm just saying if you take all 3 million packs and multiply it by the $5 price tag on each pack, that's roughly $15 million. So what I'm going to do is, and again, here I'm trying to tell you all the places where I'm making assumptions, right? So the next assumption that I'm going to make is that these expansions come out yearly. So, or at least we can expect somewhat of a yearly cycle. So if we say that it's going to be, if we say land is going to provide the equivalence of Rift Watchers in terms of value, that means it is going to provide roughly $15 million worth of value to landowners over the course of a year. So what does that mean? $15 million divided by 150,000 plots means that every landowner gets roughly $100 from their plot per year. Okay. Divide that by 365, that's roughly a little over a quarter per day. I think many people are expecting a lot more than that. And I'm not saying that my numbers are right. I'm just saying that if we compare the value, then that's what it would be at, roughly $100 per year. As an investment, if you bought in at $20, well, you are doing amazing because you are 4xing your investment every single year and not losing anything out of that. Whereas if you were to buy a plot today, it would take you roughly 4.5 years to earn back your investment. Again, I'm not counting SPS that you earn from the airdrop and whatever else, whatever other things that plots may have involved with them before they actually get released. So $100 on maybe a more conservative estimate if we look at something like Rift Watchers. What about if we look at something like Chaos Legion? Now, Chaos Legion is 15 million packs, right? Times, why am I not doing math here? Yeah, 15 million packs times $4 per pack. That's not the right numbers, 15 million. So this is going to be roughly, exactly, I don't know what I'm saying, roughly $60 million. So this is 4x the value that we were seeing, meaning that if I divided this by 150,000, each plot on average will earn a return of $400 per year. Now, this is a little more interesting in the sense that you would make back the ROI on your plot for every single year, right? Or at least within 1 year, or roughly within 1 year. And then everything after that is just kind of gravy. So looking at those two numbers, I don't know if we're going to be like way above that, way below that. To me, let me put it this way. If we're going to actually value this as something like $60 million of value being given out to the players or landowners every single year, that to me seems extremely high, just based on where we're at now. Then again, we could be also leveling up as a game, as a community, and as an ecosystem. If more and more players come in, the ecosystem thrives. We get an infusion of not just players, but money, assets, things like that, right? So therefore, the demand of some of these items, for example, would go up as well because there's only a limited amount of land plots that are creating them. So similar to how we had crazy price inflation in October and November of last year, where there was a very, very high demand and a very low supply, this is something that could potentially creep up over time. So those are the two numbers that I want to give to you. Again, this is all speculation. So I was just working these numbers out myself. And I'm like, for me, it's like, should I be buying more land? Should I wait on it? Should I, part of me looks at land and says it's kind of a gamble, right? Because it's like opening a pack. You could get the worst of the worst, or you could get the best of the best. But $400 or $443 for a roll of the dice seems a little expensive, at least for me. I'm sure maybe for other people it's not a second thought, but for me that's just not, that's just not where I want to be. Now, that's why I was trying to get to where the averages are, because hopefully I have two plots, and at the very least I would want them to be in the average range, right? If not above average. So if I'm looking at that, then the plots that I have, at least at this point in time, I'm not saying my numbers are going to be right. I'm just saying that I'm going to go off of the numbers that I'm calculating, because this is based on the most up-to-date information we have, which again is all very kind of speculative. So take it all with a grain of salt. But I would say that it actually seems somewhat reasonable, even though 60 million seems like such an absurd number. It seems somewhat reasonable that we would be anywhere between that $100 to $400 per year, again, per plot. Now, if you have a better plot, you're going to get a lot more. If you have a worse plot, you might get less. But on average, that's how much I would expect given what we know right now. And that's how much I'm going to expect based on my own decisions on whether or not I should be buying more plots or buying other assets within the game. So again, earning back your ROI or earning back your initial investment in 4 to 4.5 years seems okay. There's definitely better options out there, but yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of where I'm at right now. So again, I'm not trying to FUD land. So before anybody hops into the comments here and says that, I'm just trying to be realistic about the information that we have. And $60 million of value every single year seems like a lot. So we'll see. Hopefully my conservative estimates end up being just that, very, very conservative. But you never know. So I just want to share that with you guys. And at this point in time, yeah, between 1 and 400 divided by 365 days a year, I would say if you were getting $1 a day from land, that sounds about right, at least where asset prices are right now. So if my math seems off, or if somebody wants to correct me, please feel free to do so. I would love to make sure that I post an update to this just in case I messed anything up. But that is all I have for you in this video today. So let me know your thoughts below. Let me know if you agree, disagree, and why. That's the most important. And then we can take the discussion from there. All right, guys, have an amazing rest of your day. I will catch you all in the next video, and I will see you around the game. Take care.